live chat here, and we got our first caller here. So let's get into it here, and it is December 2nd, 2019. My God, we are almost to 2020, which is crazy. But let's go to Pavlos here, Greek poker god. Looks like we got a tournament hand coming in here from the Florida area. What's going on, Pavlos?
All good, Bart. Yeah, I have a hand from the recent Hard Rock Rock and Roll Poker Open.
Okay, so this was this an HPT event?
WPT.
Oh, WPT. Oh, regional WPT?
Yeah.
Okay, WPT at Seminole Hard Rock?
Correct.
Okay, and what's the buy-in?
It's the opening event, and it's $400.
All right, so kind of a not like a huge, not a crazy big one, but big enough, I guess you call it sort of mid stakes.
It has 1 million guaranteed. So.
Oh, okay, 1 million guaranteed.
First place is 250,000.
Yeah. So how far along are we here in the tourney?
We are in the money.
Okay, in the money. Okay.
Yeah, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we started the 4,700.
Okay.
Yeah, 4,700 players, and we're down to 120-ish.
Okay.
Somewhere around that there.
So 120 out of like 4,700 entries. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have 1.2 million.
Okay.
The blinds are 40,000, 20,000 the small blind, and 40,000 big blind ante.
So 20K, 40K. So you're like at 30 blinds, right? Pretty much.
Correct. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Got it.
The low jack limps.
The low jack
and
limps. Okay.
my standard open to that level was 90K. So now I make it 110.
Okay. So low jack limps.
Yeah.
And you're in the cutoff.
I'm hijack.
So you're in the hijack with king. Is that right?
King with a king of diamonds.
King of diamonds, king. I'm just going to put king of diamonds, king of clubs. So low jack limps here on the hijack with king of diamonds, king of clubs. You're at 30 blinds effective. I mean, it's really difficult for you to see a flop here, and I feel like ever really fold. Of course, besides an ace coming, right? I mean, you're just happily going to get it in at 30 big blinds effective, right? Pre-flop in a tournament with king. So.
Yeah, I was hoping the player on my left, I had opened twice with ace-jack offsuit and king-jack offsuit, and I had to fold it, and I had to fold when he 3-betted. So I was hoping that he's going to continue making moves. So I made it an amount that I thought it's more prone to 3-bets.
Okay.
Instead of, doing it pre-flop 140 or 150. So I made it 110.
Oh, wow. Okay. So just like less than 3x.
Yes.
Yeah.
The guy on my left, so he's on hijack, right?
Well, he's in the cutoff.
Oh, no, the limper was +2. Sorry. Limper was +2. I'm in the low jack, and I make it 110.
Okay.
The hijack calls.
Okay.
And the big blind calls, and the limper.
All right. So hijack calls, and big blind calls, and limper calls. So. Correct. The pot is like probably almost like it's probably like 500,000 ish, right? Just a hair under 500, probably something like that. Which is like kind of crazy.
Closer to 600.
Is it really? Oh, maybe. I'm not counting. So I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? Because it's like 15 blinds. Like you start the hand with 30, so you're looking at 2 pot size bets left. I mean, it's kind of interesting because like it's multi-way, but what ends up happening? So let's go to the flop here.
Okay, so the flop comes 5, 6, 7 with a 5, 6 of diamonds and the 7 of hearts.
So 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 5 of diamonds, 6 of diamonds, 7 of hearts. So this is obviously not really the best flop in the sense that, in tournament poker, you don't look to put like a ton of money in on a flop like this. The thing is that what's interesting, and I don't necessarily know the answer. Like I'm not Nick Petrangelo, you know what I mean? Like some of these guys. Well, actually, no one knows the answer, right? Because when they run these sims, it's really hard. Like you don't get into these situations where It's super multi-way, and everybody is definitely not playing optimal like in a $400 buy-in. You know, if you were like say more than 50, 60 big blinds, a lot of times this is just a pure check, especially if you're raising from up front, right? You kind of play it really, really cautiously because a lot of things can change. You just don't really want to put a lot of money, and this is kind of the difference between like a cash game, I feel like, in a tournament, especially at the low to mid stakes of a cash game. I actually think it's almost criminal to not bet this flop from up front at like a 2-5 game and below, where you're not overly concerned about like your opponents taking advantage of like board and range advantages and things like that. I think you lose way too much value. I can see it in a tournament though, even in a small stakes tournament, because the equity of the hand just like changes so much. Like you're almost looking for a safeguard, which is not really a concept that we're super accustomed to in Hold'em. But you're so shallow here. I mean, it's very difficult. Like you could bet call here, obviously, and what I'm saying is I don't really know the answer. Like at two pot size bets here, it wouldn't surprise me if you actually are sort of allowed to just go with it at like 27 big blinds left and the pot's 15 big blinds. If you're deeper, you have to play it more cautiously. I could also see checking. I just don't think it's an automatic check like people might think. You'd be surprised when the pot is this large, you know, and you can sometimes bet, and then if it went like all in, you could sometimes evaluate too. It's not always just a slam dunk bet call, but I mean that's my take with it because you're so shallow. I'm assuming it got checked to you. I skipped ahead, but I'm assuming it got checked to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both of them checked,
Yeah.
and I decided to check because I hated multi-way this flop.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if I played this hand online,
Mm-hmm.
I would bet call all day.
Bet call, just bet call.
Online,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
On the live and this specific event, I didn't see people actually raising as a bluff too often.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I decided to check, play
Yep.
it cautiously,
Uh-huh.
maybe bluff catch or reevaluate on the turn
Yep.
if it got checked through.
Mm-hmm.
But after my check, the player on my left bets 170,000.
Okay.
The big blind folds. The initial limper calls, and now I'm faced with another decision. Do I go all in here or I just call?
So the pot's gonna have like three. So the pot's gonna have like 940 in it, and then if you call, you're gonna have what, like 900,000 or so, 900,000 to a million, something like that, left in your stack,
Yeah,
basically. So it's like
yeah,
one pot size bet left. That's the thing. Like I don't know, man. Like it's once you, I feel like once. I mean, it doesn't. It kind of seems strange, right? Like what I'm about to say, but once the limper calls. I mean, obviously he could obviously be slow playing something, but what I've found, especially in a tournament, is the pot size is like your stack size, right? Right now,
yeah.
I know you're deep. You probably could just check raise all in. I don't know if you're. I don't know exactly know. It's. I mean, if you call, like I said, you've got one pot size bet left. You'll have about. I guess you'll still have about 20 big blinds. I guess you could say, well, I'm going to call and sort of wait to see if a safe card comes. The interesting thing is if a safe card comes, are you just checking and just hoping the guy checks it through, or are you like betting your equity on the turn? I mean, the check over call and then lead turn is not a common line, but when you play post flop with stack sizes like this, like I don't know the correct answer. I'm just telling you what I'm thinking because it's a very weird spot. I don't think that it could be that bad to just jam. I could also see calling too. What did you end up doing?
I called.
Okay. Yeah. So now you're
Now the
dealing with about a
turn,
pot size bet, right? Left.
yes.
Yeah.
The turn is a card that I did not hate. It was the seven of diamonds. I did not hate 100%.
Seven of diamonds is top pair pairing and the front door diamond coming in, but you've got kings with a king of diamonds, basically.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
We both check, and the guy on the left bets 250.
Okay.
Okay, and now the initial limper goes all in.
So we say hijack bets 250, and now the limper moves all in.
Yes.
I mean, at this point, I mean, on the surface, it looks like you're going to have to fold here. I mean, I obviously can see a scenario where, and maybe it's because you're calling this hand in, where something crazy happens, where it's like, well, maybe you're ahead of both players. But I feel like if you've played it like this now, I mean, for example, like if the turn was an offsuit 7 here, I think that you would more likely to just, even though it's kind of strange that this guy's check jamming, more likely to just kind of go with it. But now the 7 of diamonds comes in, it would appear to me like the limper would have a fair amount of some flushes. I guess he has some slow plays. Doesn't I would almost rather see. I would almost, if a guy's overcalling with a 7, if he's a poor player, he'd almost rather just donk the turn here, as opposed to check raise all in. But I mean, the interesting thing here is you're actually going to get quite a price, because if it's plus like 900,000 and you're basically, these guys are committing, you're almost going to get almost like 3-1 if you assume the guy is going to call from behind. Like 250, the guy moves all in. We're going to treat that like 900,000 because you have 900,000. So it's like 250 and 900. That's like 1.15, and then another 900. It's like, pot's like 2 million, and it's like, 8 or 900,000 for you to call, roughly. It could even be more than that. But of course, it's like your tournament life, and it still seems like you've got maybe 20 blinds. So, I mean, it kind of seems like on the surface, a lot of things have to go your way here in order for you to make this call as played. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the reason I called this hand, because
Yeah.
I felt that the line that I followed was not very good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't mind my check on the flop,
Mm-hmm.
but after the bet, the call, maybe going all in on the flop was
Right.
better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's what I tend to see. What did you end up doing here? Did you fold?
Yeah, I folded.
Okay. Yeah.
And the guy on my left, which he was basically the main reason I folded,
Mm-hmm.
with all that action. He
Yeah.
bet twice. He bet the flop, he bet the turn. He got what he wanted,
Yeah.
right? And he folded. And I basically talked to the guy on the right. I said, "Oh man, what did you have it?" Or
Mm-hmm.
I started talking to him, and he showed the eights with the 8 of diamonds.
Eights with the 8 of diamonds. So he has a overpair that he limped in with now a straight flush draw. I mean, that's a horrible shove, obviously. I mean, I mean, it's a it's a shove. Like, the only way that check shove is not horrible is if he somehow thinks he's going to get you off a better hand, right? I just doesn't
I mean,
seem
he
like
did.
that. Yeah, I know, but I don't think that was his intention, though. I don't
I mean,
think that he's
my
thinking
whole
it in
yeah.
his head like, oh, this guy's got an overpair. Let me check jam 8s here with the 8 of diamonds
I
to get
don't
the
know
guy
what
over
he
with
was
the overpair.
thinking, to be
No, that's
honest.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't buy it. But I mean, I think you might have got unlucky here in the sense that if the hijack's folding to the check jam, then he doesn't really have anything. And
And
maybe
that's the thing. He bet on 3 opponents. Okay, he
right.
bet on 3 opponents. He got 2 calls on the flop. He continues to bet. Okay, on a card that, I mean, if he did not have, obviously he did not have a 7, because that would be a call. But
Well,
what is he betting there?
I think he might have had a hand like, he could have had a hand like 9-10, or he felt like he was gonna, I don't know, like Queen Jack with like Jack 10 of hearts or some shit like that. Maybe a hand where he was like, okay, now the preflop raiser's checked, I can bet here, and I'm going to be able to take it down a fair amount. And then now when 2 people called, it's not traditionally like a card that he wants to barrel, like right on the turn, but then maybe he just thought it was too good for him not to stab. Like, it's top pair pairing, it's a front door diamond draw. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might say, oh, I'm going to take a stab at it, and then he wasn't going to bet. Especially, like, it would be ridiculous for him to barrel a blank on the turn when you overcall the flop as a preflop raiser, because it sort of looks like you have what you have. Like, it would be ridiculous for him to bet a bluff like on a deuce turn against 2 people. But maybe he was just like, oh, this card's just too good for me not to continue, and then that's what ended up happening. But I think as played, it's interesting. I think maybe a check raise all in on the flop, but as played, I think that you have to fold. How did you end up finishing in this tournament, by the way?
I went deep, but I'm not going to say exactly how deep.
You're not.
three final tables. I'm doing the second episode of my vlog.
Oh,
which I changed
okay.
the name,
I got
by
it.
the way.
I got it.
The channel is now called Olympus Poker on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Olympus Poker. Oh, that's right. Pavlos is doing this YouTube channel, YouTube vlog, Olympus Poker. So he's going to include this hand here where he's talking about all his tournament hands. So that's why he doesn't want to tell us. So go over and subscribe to Olympus Poker. I'll get you this video, Pavlos, so we can do a split and a split and split cream. All right.
All the one that I did with my previous call.
Yep. All right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. Take it easy. All right.
Okay,
bye-bye.